Ooh, that's gonna make the smoke alarm go off. But yeah. Char grill, a bit of salmon. All the way around the outside. Around the outside, around the outside. Alright peeps, right, let's make a poke bowl, and I don't mean a pokey little bowl, I mean a poke bowl, no, sushi rice and stuff on top. First and first we need to do, sort out the rice. Now, sushi rice, buy in packs, I would say follow the instructions. The instructions on the sushi rice are usually pretty good. Easiest way to measure it is, I ripped that badly. I usually deplore this, but volumetric measuring is actually the best way to do this. So I'm going to do a cup of rice, which is about one large serving, a large serving for one, or a small to medium serving for two. Depends on how many people you're cooking this for. Sushi rice makes pretty good fried rice, so if you want to make loads of it, cool it down, stick it in the fridge and then make fried rice out of it another day. There's a link to my fried rice recipe. I don't think I use sushi rice in that, but sushi rice works really well. If you've got a rice cooker, use a rice cooker. They are pretty much the best way of making rice, but don't know about you. I've got a very big kitchen, don't eat a hell of a lot of rice. Ergo, haven't bothered buying a rice cooker. Can use it as a saucepan quite easily. The main place where people go wrong with making rice is they don't wash the rice first. So, sieve, rice, in a sieve, under the tap, agitate. You can do this in a bowl of cold water, and that way you can see all the extra starch and stuff coming off it. You can see it, how cloudy that water is. But you just want to keep rinsing it and agitating it and washing it, and eventually the water that comes out of it will be pretty much clear. It's never going to be crystal clear because there's always going to be scraping bits of rice off. But this is the number one thing that people go wrong with when they're cooking rice, is they don't wash it first. So then what happens is it all just mushes, it turns into like rice pudding essentially. Right, so that water's running through there pretty clear now. Make sure you get it all rinsed. Wash your fingers off as well so you don't waste any rice. Put this in a saucepan. A saucepan of the right sort of size. You don't need a massive saucepan. What you do want though, if at all possible, well actually you need a saucepan with a well-fitting lid. To our cup of rice, we're going to add a cup of water. Now this is why the 1-to-1 actually works. Using a cup as a measure works quite well, because 100 grams of rice to 100 ml of water doesn't really work exactly the same. But what I do, or I've been told, is what I've read, add about 10% extra water in, because as it comes up to temperature, you're going to lose some water via steam. So I'm going to put it on the heat. I'm going to add a little pinch of salt, just because it's good. What's the word? Good practice. Lid on, heat on. Keep an ear out, because as soon as that boils, we're going to turn it down and we're going to do some bits to it. Now, while our rice is cooking, I'm going to go through a few other bits and pieces. So, I've got a few toppings that I'm going to put on a poke bowl. Some avocado, spring onion, radish, edamame beans, cucumber. Kind of traditional sort of bits. I've got some crispy onions, which aren't traditional, really. Normally you'd get the crispy bits of fried tonkotsu batter. Can't be bothered to make that and fry that, so I'm just going to use crispy onions because they work quite well. Normally you'd have sashimi. Oh, that's a boil. So now that's boiled, turn the heat right down, and we're going to take that off the heat quickly. Now, what we want to do is make sure absolutely no steam comes out of that, because we want to keep everything in there. So now that's quickly come to boil. Now we're going to put turn the heat off for now, just so you don't start a fire. Put a tea towel over. Put the lid back on. Pull the lid up. And then put it on our lowest burner we have. That's this one. And that's on the lowest it will go. And now we're going to set a timer for 10 minutes. And forget about it. Back to the meat. This is salmon. The other one that would be quite common is tuna. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some prep work while we're waiting for the rice to carry on. So we're going to thinly slice our spring onions. Thinly slice some avocado. Thinly slice some radishes. Oh, I've got some Nori Sheets, which nice little seasoning to go on top. These are easily done with a pair of scissors, but you want nice little fine little ribbons. We're going to also make a sauce, mayo and sriracha 50-50. The only other thing, I've got some edamame beans. Obviously we're not going to slice them up, but I am just going to give them a quick splash of ponzu. Not too much. And a little splash of sesame oil. Which we're also going to fry the salmon in. Ponzu is essentially just citrus seasoned soy sauce in the bowl. So it's soy sauce, but with, I think it's been fermented with lemon grains. I'm just going to give that a stir. And let them sort of marinate in that pot while we're getting everything else ready. So yeah, I'm going to do all the slicing and dicing and chopping and stuff. And I'll be back in. Right. So we've got everything sliced up. It's really handy if you've got little, ooh, what's that? Fluff. Got little individual pots to put everything in. Especially if you're cooking a big portion of it. That way you can take everything to the table for everyone you're feeding. If you're cooking like feeding 4, 6, 8 people, cook a big massive batch of rice. All you've got to do is stick that in some bowls. Take all this out to the table. If someone doesn't like avocado, they don't have avocado. Just mix them out, pick and mix what they want. I'm gonna make the sauce. This is pretty much equal parts mayo. What's that about? 2 tablespoons, maybe a little bit less. And sriracha. Now if you can get hold of Tsp mayo, which is actual Japanese mayo, they sell it in Sainsbury's sometimes, but I can't always get it. You can definitely get it off Amazon and other online places. Use Tsp mayo instead, because it does taste a lot better. So that's our spicy sriracha mayo. I'm going to say, hit our 10 minutes as well, so turn the heat off, but I haven't lifted the lid off. We left that lid on, we're going to leave that steaming for another 5 minutes. In that time, I've got to talk about our fish. So I've got some salmon. This salmon, we're going to go through it like any other salmon. Double check it's not got any pin bones in it, which this has. There's one there. So what we're going to do to prepare this fish is I am going to fill it off the skin, because just the way I'm cooking it, it's better to not have the skin. So I like to make a little incision there just so I can get a hold of the skin, and then just with a sharp knife slowly work my way along. There you go. So you want to just keep that blade pointing down towards the skin. If you can't be bothered to do this, you can leave the skin on. Completely up to you. Make a little incision. And just get started. And I like to turn it over and then work away along here a little bit so it gets a bit further down. And then go back over. Blade pointing down towards the chopping board and just slicing along the skin. You really make your life so much easier if you've got a sharp point. A little bit of flesh, but I find the flesh closest to the skin is got much more stronger flavour anyway, so you might not want that anyway. So we're going to just chop this into smallish cubes, pretty much up to you, the size of these cubes. Traditionally they would be bite-sizey sort of cubes, but if you want them a bit smaller, a bit bigger, completely and utterly up to you. And again, the sharper the knife, the better here. Like sashimi knives are ridiculous. They're like mini samurai swords. They are super, super, super sharp. Right, so I've got that salmon in a bowl now. I'm just going to add a little splash, maybe a teaspoon the most of our ponzu, just to kind of get a marination going to begin with. Give that a stir and a mix up. I'm just going to leave that to one side for a minute, and we're going to crack on with our rice. Now, lid off of here. Now, you should be welcomed by some nice, fluffy rice that is perfectly cooked. Now, what I'm going to do with this is, big bowl. Traditionally, this would be a wooden bowl. If you've got a big wooden bowl, use a big wooden bowl. You want to be gentle with it as well. Wooden implements or plastic implements are the best, because you don't want to start bashing this rice together. Now, sushi, it literally translates to sour rice. Right, so I want a tablespoon of rice wine vinegar. 2 actually, so for that amount. And then we want 2 teaspoons of sugar. Teaspoon of mirin, which isn't particularly traditional, but I like it. Can't get mirin using another teaspoon of sugar. It's like a sweet rice cooking wine. And then we want about a teaspoon, less than that probably, half a teaspoon of salt. Mix that all together. And then you're going to pour that on your rice all over. And with a gentle, almost cutting motion, you just want to get that sushi seasoning through everything. So now normally this would be at room temperature. This is going to cool down quite quickly. Because it's a metal bowl, I'm going to put it in the sink in a little bit of cold water. Lay it out on a baking tray, cool it down quickly. You can serve it warm. I mean, that's already cooled down to a point where you can eat it quite comfortably. So it's completely up to you. By the time I've cooked the salmon, which is only going to be very quickly, because I'm only going to very quickly sear it on the outside. But if you wanted to, if you're cooking something else, if you were doing some, say, pork or beef, might take a bit longer, or make it ahead of time, or cook it all, get it out, do all of this, then do all of this prep work. It's pretty up to you how you want to get it done. Right, so I'm going to very quickly sear this salmon. I'm going to put about a teaspoon and a half of sunflower oil, peanut oil, whatever, and I would put a teaspoon of sesame oil in, but I've only got, there's probably about a teaspoon there, but yeah, teaspoon of oil and a teaspoon of sesame seed oil. I'm also going to put in just a pinch of actual sesame seeds in there as well, so they'll just toast off while we're cooking this. Right, got a bowl. Go in with our salmon. And while that's quickly searing, I'm going to get the rice in the bowl. If you've got excess, like I said, it makes really good fried rice. So chill it down and ooh, that's going to make the smoke alarm go off. But yeah, char grill a bit of salmon. Right, that will do us. Put our salmon to one side. Like I said, I've probably got about 2 portions worth of salmon here, but nothing wrong with being greedy every now and again. So that salmon's still like barely cooked on the inside, just a little bit buttery. Edamame beans, put them on one side as well. Well, I keep saying one side. In one little mound. And go with a mound of our cucumbers, mound of avocado, radish. Oh, I've got some pickled onion. I'm going to have some pickled onion on as well, actually, yeah. So, pickled onion's always nice. Pickled ginger is nice as well. I don't have any pickled ginger, but if you have, feel free to use pickled ginger. Pickled onion there. I'm going to go in with spring onions in the middle there. And I'm going to season with our crispy onions. So they're just going to go all the way around the outside. And we're going to do the same with our sesame seeds that we've got left over. And last but not least, our sriracha mayo. You get yourself a sheet of nori. Don't need lots of it. I like to go down the middle and then just slice off little ribbons. Just a little bosh of that in the middle there. Voila! I'm going to take some pictures for the gram, but there you go. Fresh, easy stuff. You can make the rice ahead of time. Good for if you're having feeding loads of people, because they will pick and mix what they want. Get your hands on some like really fresh tuna if you want to do like sashimi. or buy sashimi from your local sushi place. Sure, you've got one nearby. If not, you can get it online these days. But there you go. Bish bash bosh on the roof. Right, dinner time. I'm going to go eat this. Then I need to start editing because I'm a bit behind on my videos. But I'll hopefully see you soon. See you later, party people. Adios.